Now today we'll be designing this super cool drone. Let's listen to that. Super nice. Now, without further ado, let's get going. Let's launch the Ableton and let's go. Now, so let's find the wavetable. It is here in Instruments on the very bottom. Let's drag it to the MIDI track. Make sure it's armed. Now, how does it sound like? Nice, normal, just a default pad. We're gonna make in a pad, which is like multi-layered pad with literally 6 oscillators. So let's get going. Let's find some interesting shapes here. We will for sure. I love to see the collection. Amber is really nice. Let's filter it out a little bit. So we will be using 3 instances of Wavetable, and they all will have different functions. So there will be a Wavetable that will be playing lower notes, one will be playing the middle frequencies, and one will be playing higher frequencies. So let that be the middle one. Let's play the middle frequencies. Let's cut the lows here a little bit. And let's work with the middle frequencies. So the most melodic ones. Okay, now let's just scan it a little bit. So let's use the matrix. We can actually open the wavetable completely, so we can see everything here on the super large screen, which is super cool. I love it. You just press this triangle button here. Okay, and now how to do it? Let's find the LFO like that. Let's make it really slow. Let's make another one kind of also very slow, but slightly different rate. Let's turn off the trigger on both, and then let's add it to here. So this is the oscillator 1 position. We'll be using LFO number 1 like that. And LFO 2 the other way around. Okay, let's design the amp envelope, which should start a little bit more delicate, let's say. That's fine. We don't need it to decay that fast. Everything has to be slow. It will be like a slow cinematic drone pad. I think it's just a little bit too open for me. So let's find the filter, which is here. Let's close down the frequency a little bit. Let's change the filter type to MS2, that way we can drive a little bit. And it is getting a little bit loud, so let's turn it down. Yeah, everything sounds fine here for me. So let us also design the oscillator number 2. So let's turn it on here. Let's find some different shapes. Let's go to like the retro, maybe something like sweep saw would be nice. And let's use the same LFOs to move this, but the other way around. So this one like that, the other one. So they'll cancel each other sometimes. Now the thing that's going to change everything is adding a little bit of the unison. So let's add the unison in the mode of shimmer. That's cool. Nice and floaty, super nice. And let's move the frequency of this filter, especially the low pass one. So let's touch the dial, it showed it disappear here. Let's also use the LFOs, just like a very delicate. And also let's use the envelope. So we will have this frequency kind of grow, slowly decay to the sustain, let's say 2 seconds, and like 3 seconds release, and add just a tiny bit of the envelope to the filter number 1 frequency. So it opens up now and closes, and also moves with the LFOs. That's already very dynamic. I'm only pressing 3 keys, which is a G minor chord. That's what we'll be working with. We're doing this, but in 3 different ways. So let's cheat a little bit, and let's use all the settings and just duplicate the wavetable. So how do we do that? We just group it together because we want to have it in an instrument rack. So let's press Command G. Now we open that and we have the wavetable. Let's rename it by pressing Ctrl or Command R and just name it mids. Okay, perfect. Now let's duplicate it by clicking on that little bar here and pressing Command or Control D. Now we have it duplicated. The new thing, we will just rename it straight away so we don't get confused. Let's rename it to highs, high frequency. Okay, great. And also let's change the color. So we have the highs will be, let's say, blue. Mids will be where we are, yellow. We can already duplicate this from the mids and rename it straight away to have the lows, low frequencies, but we will turn it off for now. We'll also turn off the mids for now. Let's change the color to red so we won't get confused that easily. Okay, perfect. So we have this instrument track. We did the mids, we can switch them off. We will be doing highs. We have this already open, so let's change it up a little bit. Let's find some nice and cool wavetables. Let's stick to the collection. Let's go to, let's say, something else, something different, a bit more aggressive. We're working in high frequencies, so the ruby looks nice. Let's play on the oscillator number 1. Cool, but let's move it up a bit. And then let's open the filter a lot. Let's work mostly with these frequencies now. Let's change the filter number 2 to MS2 as well and drive it a bit. Maybe not that much, that's hurting my ears. Let's go down in the volume. Okay, change the unison mode to, let's say, noise. So it's kind of dirty, I like it. More voices. And let's change up the frequency because they will be working at the same speed, which we don't really want to. So let's change the envelope type. Let's open it. Let's close it a bit more. And then let's change the rate to be this one a little bit faster, this one like really slow. And let's change up these values. We can of course also use the random parameter. So let's add a little bit of that here to the frequency. And then let's change these values a little bit so they're a bit more delicate because we're working in the very prominent part of the sound. Now let's listen to it now. Oh, I think this moves way too fast, so let's go down with the rate here. Let's say it's really slow, 0.04. Okay. Change these values a bit, but actually they're actually fine, so let's leave it like that. And now oscillator number 2, let's first detune it slightly. So let's use the detune. Let's leave the octave as it is, but let's change the wavetable again. So let's go to, let's say, vintage. And let's find something like subtree shape. Maybe we go down an octave. That's also interesting. How do they sound together? And they're rich and shimmery. Quite nice. We'll be of course able to change the volume of each wavetable, and we'll be doing that in a moment. But let's leave it like that. I like it so far. That's super cool. We will be adding some effects later on, so they're going to change a lot. So, okay, we have these two. Sometimes let's take care of the lows. So let's switch off this speaker here. Let's turn on this one, and we are in the lows category. So let's change it a little bit. So let's go to the basics, basic shapes. Let's listen to only oscillator number 1. Let's go down in frequency. We want to have like really this. We want to have this. That's perfect. And this is moving. We don't want it to be moving that fast. We can actually keep something stable. Let's switch off all the automations. We'll be designing them again. And then, yeah. So first oscillator will, why is it still moving? Okay, there we go. First oscillator will be around sawtooth wave. And no unison. And let's go down. Maybe not 2 octaves. 1 octave will be absolutely enough. And a second oscillator. Let's hear it now. Let's also go to the basics and let's change to the sub 3. It is very muffled because of the filter, but we can hear it. How does it do? Let's change the filter type to, let's say, this is the one that's not controlling resonances too much, so. Okay, and now we want it also to be evolving a little bit, especially on the oscillator number 2. So let's find it here. LFO, really slow. And let's just put some random numbers here. Not LFO rate, but the filter frequency. Okay, it's probably went too low. These values should be very minimal, I guess. It is a little bit colliding, so let's do something about it. Let's try to warp this. Just to get rid of the lowest frequencies. Let's change that also, maybe less resonance here. Maybe make a bit more sharper, steeper. So you have more control over the low, so you don't want it to be rumbling too much. Okay, so let's listen to this one. Now I have this one. Now I have this one. So I have 3 different wavetables. Let's combine them all together, but let's make sure our limiter is helping us a little bit, because this might be loud. Let's play the G minor chord again. That's cool. C minor. So the sound will never be the same. It will be changing, will be floating around. It will just move. That's interesting. Maybe a bit slower attack. Around 1 second on each of the wavetables now. And we can adjust the level of each one of them. So let's say the highs are too prominent, let's turn them down. Okay, I like it too much now, but that's only part of the job done. We have this instrument rack, let's call it 3 waves. Okay, why not? And then let's add some effects to it. We for sure want to have utilities, so we can leave it as it is now, but let's add some kind of reverb. So my go-to reverb in this case would be, let's say, hybrid reverb. But I'll be only using the algorithm part of it, so not the impulse response. Let's move the blend dial to 100%, and we have to make it a little bit more vintage. So this is a tricky thing to do. You press the off, you click the mouse on it, and you move it up or down. Let's make it subtle. A bit more wept, a bit more of the decay. More reverb. What we can do now to have it like really nice and lushy and even longer, we can use something else, third-party plugin, like let's say free Valhalla Supermassive, which I absolutely love. So let's find it. Here we are. That's what it looks like. Let's lock the mix so it's always 50%, and let us change the preset to, let's say, something with like reverbs, large. This one. This is like super long, maybe even too long. Maybe this one. make the delay a bit longer. This is like singing. We can make it more interesting by adding a little saturation in the middle. So between the reverbs, let's add a saturation. Let's just find it here. Let's add it here, and let's be just gentle with that. So first we're going to go down with on the output a little bit. I want to drive it, of course, but there are super nice, cool things we can use. Let's use the wave shaper a little bit. Let's soft clip it, obviously. Super cool, I like it. We can of course also control it with the compressor, because I can hear that sometimes the sound is very loud, sometimes it's a bit quiet. So what we can use, it will be the glue compressor, which is also a stock compressor from Ableton. It's absolutely right, absolutely great. Let's add it just after the wavetable, before all the reverbs and everything. And let's listen to what it does, and let's play with the threshold. Let's see if all the settings as they are. We can leave the ratio 4:1. It's not too aggressive, and all the settings should absolutely be fine with this instrument. So let's play. You can just adjust the threshold to the level that is working slightly, but not too much. We don't need to add makeup gain. I trimmed it down here on the utility. We can unblock it now. I always recommend to have a limiter at the end while you're designing sounds, because sometimes the sounds can be like really loud and like clip. Just make the limiter clip at some kind of, I don't know, 2-3 decibels from the top, and that should be enough. Okay, but before we finish, let's design some things that our module is going to be doing. Let's go back to all of these wavetables. Let's see the MIDI. So the module will open our filter 1 frequency. So let's do like that. Let's hear only the highs now. That's cool. We can drive the filter a little bit. Let's click on this. So module can drive a little bit. Actually, let's make the module take the frequency to the other side. So lower the frequency, but drive it a bit. Okay, and the other frequency. Also, let's add a little bit of the body. Let's also drive it a little bit. And also just make sure that the module doesn't go 100% on the oscillator 1 position. Let's just make it move a tiny bit. Now when we play, it just moves up, but not too far. That's perfect. Let's recheck the... all the settings should be fine. Okay, so do the same with the mids. We have this interface still open, so we can close now. So now let's go back to the MIDI and let's see what it does. We don't want that, we know about that. But we want to open filter 1 frequency. Move that frequency as well. Add a little bit of the drive again. And maybe more of the unison. That's cool. Now let's go to the lows. What we can do with low frequencies. Let's check the MIDI. Let's go down. Oscillator number 2 is this one. Let's move this one as well. And let's make it a little bit more rich. So let's add some low frequencies. The other way around. Okay, and now this frequency. And this drive. So that's what the module is doing. That's really loud, that's why we need a glue compressor, because when they all play together, we have a little bit of the drive. But that's our module in the position 0, so nominal position. Now when you open it, starts kind of distorting, clipping. We hear it through all the effects. You see limiter is not working too much, so not clipping. You can try to play one note. Let's go to like octave lower. Let's play, let's say, just a G. This is really cool for a soundtrack. You don't need to do anything. I'm literally holding one finger on one key. And it's just changing, and it will always be changing in a random way. That's cool, I like it. You can use it as a drone, you can use it as a pad, you can rechange the amp envelope so they'll be faster or slower here. So let's release the key. Let's play C and G together. Okay, let's play something dissonant. Let's play G and G sharp. Let's play G and B flat. That's actually nice. Yeah, the possibilities are endless, and this patch will be of course available to download for free from my website. Just follow the link in the description box down below, and if you're a fan of super dark and heavy drones, you can watch this video next, in which I design one in Meld. So super cool. And that's it from me for today. Thanks so much for watching, and see you guys next video. Cheers.